Hey, we're here to look deeper into Deadman's Cave. If you don't know the story of Deadman's Cave, you can find the video in the description below. But just a brief overview: uh, prospectors in the 1880s, they go up Deadman's Creek. They're exploring for looking for gold, find a crack in the wall, and then they go in, and then they stumble upon five skeletons and a bunch of gold bars with Spanish insignias on them. They take three. They come back the next year when after the snow thaws, and they can't find it again. But it's still up there, somewhere around Deadman's. That's how Deadman Creek gets its name. But there's some interesting things in the story, and that we're going to go over right now. Some of the details that make me, wonder, like rebuilding the story. And I built these in notes instead of just trying to take them from memory, the way I have in other videos. As I'm just up in the wilderness, like just super tired. So hopefully this will go faster and there'll be more data and more effective. And I'm definitely a lot more comfortable, as you can see. I don't know if we'll do these in the future. But anyway, so some things to look at just to build on this profile of looking for this and maybe what may have happened at the site and the Spanish. And so the first thing I think we should look at is like just the Arrastras. Like Arrastras started in New Mexico around 1500s, and they started pushing up into the 1600s. And there have been Arrastra Spanish ones found in the San Luis Valley up in this area from around the 1600s. So we're looking at hundreds and hundreds of years ago that this may have been taking place, where this Spanish mine and gold was lost. And of course, some things we need to know about Arrastras, because this is important. Because I'm learning all this stuff, about like mining and the capabilities and logistics, which is helping pinpoint and search. Is that they have to be next to water. Like that's an important piece of it. Is that they have to be close to water, along with smelters and space to like flat space to do it. So a lot of these mines are like on really steep terrain. Probably isn't the place where they're doing this, so they're taking this ore somewhere nearby, ideally where they can crush it down. And that kind of goes on like with making these gold bars. Now they obviously couldn't make it, I don't believe, in this like hole in the wall. Like that was like a mixture between, like, it sounds like a natural cavern and and mined out areas that they did later. So that probably means that they had to do it somewhere else, which implies that they brought the gold back, or they brought the gold to the spot from somewhere else after it was built into gold bars. So that's something important to note, like as we build up this storyline of what potentially happened. By the fact that they brought them back, makes you wonder what else was going on, and we can tie this in with another tale. So what we have so far is that the group of five skeletons were found in there, presumably Spanish. Gold was left. So most likely, what I'm seeing is that these were Native Americans that were probably enslaved, forced to get mine this gold, and then later rebelled and killed the Spanish, left the gold there because they weren't after gold. And this is also, we have more supporting evidence because the Cavernas de Oro is an even older tale in this area about the Spanish, and how the Spanish enslaved some like Utes, brought them up into the mountains. A lot of people think it was up by Marble Mountain, Sand Creek, forced them into this tunnel to make where their gold was, that the natives did not want to go because they thought it was a place of evil with evil spirits, and eventually they revolted and killed all the Spanish except one priest that got away. And so when I first got here and I heard both the stories, one of the locals that I go checking out some of these mines with, he thought they were similar and related, and I think I'm starting to think maybe he's right, because there is a lot of supporting evidence for that we're talking about one and the same thing. And then I also found a an old map. I was looking at old Spanish maps, and they label one of the creeks up in this area Rio de Camino, which means like the road, the creek along the road, or road creek, or path creek. And when you look at the geography of everything, when you're coming from the south and want to come into this area, the most likely route you're going to take is after you go past the sand dunes, Sand Creek, is you're going to turn and come up Deadman's Creek. Because if you continue going further, you just get into a ton of wetlands, which is going to make it really hard to go. And Deadman is one of the biggest creek systems here, and has, I would assume, out of most of the creeks in this area, the most like life and water. If you go over there, you'll just see like it's just like a huge expanse where there's water, a lot of big trees, a lot of different diversity. But anyway, let's get back to this. So now that we're slowly starting to paint a picture, that we know that they had to bring the gold probably further down, to find a place where there's water, where they could use their Arrastra to break it down, then use mercury to extract the gold, and then smelt it in a smelter at preferably lower elevation in order to have it get hot enough. So this begs the question, why was the gold I found back up in this cave high up in the mountains by Deadman's? And I'm assuming that's like where it was mined from, based on reconstruction of the old legend. And I'm starting to wonder if they didn't go up there. Let's say that the legendary story and the article from the 1880s are correct, that they went up there trying to hide from this native revolt, right? The 5 Spaniards, or maybe there were more. Those are just the ones that made it to the cave. And then they set up there, and my biggest question was, well, why would they go to a place that the natives already knew that they were at? And the answer I get is, well, maybe that's where they felt comfortable, because it was high up in the mountains. It may have been more defendable, because they have to go through this little crack. And lastly, there was already a lot of superstition around it by the natives, so maybe they thought it would save them. But we also know, presumably, or it's a whole different storyline that I'm missing, that they were there long enough, felt comfortable enough to build rock shelves inside one of the rooms where they could put the gold. And so then the next question is, well, should we be looking for, like in a lot of like Spanish stuff, they left hidden symbols and stuff to get to their treasure or to the caches. And I haven't seen anything like that here. I don't know if it's because of the rock, because a lot of the videos I've been watching, a lot of it's like built into sandstone, and here we have a lot of metamorphic rock that's really tough to build into. There are like massive blazes from the old Spanish trail that you can see down by Deadman's, and maybe that's a hint. But nothing. I haven't been able to find anything else beyond like a potential. It's worn away on an old mine that's been reworked by Americans on the wall in the entrance. But this is really exciting, because now we can see that that they had to bring the gold back there, right? Because or else the gold would have been in a different place. So they had enough time and forewarning to bring all this gold back up to this site. So the other hypothesis, that I looked into was, well, maybe the natives killed them elsewhere and brought them up there, because that's like where all the negative places occurred, like where they were enslaved. But again, like that's a lot of work, and they wouldn't have stacked the gold there or even built out the shelves. So that tells me like they had time. So that suggests to me that they went up there trying to get away from the natives. And again, like that, it does really blend in very well with the older Spanish legend that people believe is in another spot. Just basically on the other side of the valley, like one mountain away, where Marble Mountain and Crestone kind of are, where they think this Spanish cave is, Cavernas de Oro. But I'm beginning to wonder if it's not this one that was found in 1880 and then not rediscovered again. But that also explains, like, we might be seeing like 300 to 400 years in time elapse. So trying to find like evidence to support it with all the erosion that occurs here is definitely difficult. I think we're on the right track, and I have reached out. Hopefully I get a response from some YouTubers that have a ton of experience in this and might be able to help further pinpoint the location to explore. Because at the end of the day, one of the hardest things to do is explore these remote mountains. When you go off trail and you're not like going up some of these valleys, these mountains are probably some of the hardest, like 20% of the hardest like mountains in the world. Just the way the Sangre, the Cristo range was developed. So it creates a whole new dynamic in field work and actually trying to find something. Because it's not just find a needle in a haystack, it's also find a haystack in the most rugged, extreme terrain you can possibly imagine. I think I had one last thing, because there are some Arrastras nearby. If you've seen some of my previous videos, like we go look at them, or in the area. I suspect in a spot where, like I've said before, like Americans took over, used these same old paths, and it developed their own like Arrastras and more sophisticated techniques, that we're going to find them there, or they've been reused. And I think that's going to be the answer in this. There's still more exploration to do. I still found more old paths I haven't presented yet. Just yesterday I went hiking over there. But lastly, this is the thing that I wanted to share before concluding this, and that's that in some of my previous videos, you'll see like on one of them, I find like this outlook that's looking down the valley, that's Native American, and I go over like why I think it is, like the lack of like any hatchet or tool marks, the fireplace, this area where people that's been built out, people can sleep, but no like evidence of tool marks to use for fire. But it looks over down this valley that I thought was for protecting something further up, but I just recognized as I'm like looking through these notes that also the road, this old road that was later reworked by Americans, that I think is originally Spanish, comes up through there and passes right nearby where this is, and you can see the road. I mean, you can't see it unless like you're down there and you look at it, but you can see the valley where this old road's at from this point. What if they weren't there at all to like protect something further up or to warn someone? What if that was there because the natives were setting up ambush points when the Spanish tried to come back up to get to their mine? That's exciting. I think there's something there that could explain why it's there, but that also means there's going to be spots for ambush points. But I didn't look for that when I went up there. I didn't consider that when I went up there, but I can go up there soon and check to see if like there's any like old blinds along the path, because there's a choke point that path goes right up right next to that goes through like a drainage. That would be a perfect spot to implement an attack. Anyway, so I may have missed some stuff. I may come up with add more later, but other than that, like just give me your point of view, give me your views. There might be a place here that shows which video to click on to see like some of the other ones, but I'll put like the main ones in the description below so you can have reference to this. But I do think we are building a story here and identifying and unlocking the clues to what happened to the Spanish in the mines. And just for the record, gold is awesome, but I would love to uncover like the knowledge, like find an old journal up there that describes what happened. That's what I'm really excited about. And I really didn't recognize like how old this could be. I thought maybe like 200, 250, but this could potentially be up to 400 years old, which means it's going to be even more tricky to find. But you know what? Challenge accepted. Just get in better shape. If anyone wants to come out and explore with me, let me know. It's hard. It's a hard hike. Be in shape. There's not much water, at least like when we get up to the ridgeline. Anyway, again, please let me know your input. I'm still learning a lot about the logistics of this old type of mining, but that's helping me understand where to look and building this profile on the map of where this mine might be. Thanks again, and stay tuned till next time.